U.S. urges China to stop Iran from closing Strait of Hormuz. June 23, 2025. In a dramatic appeal underscoring rising geopolitical tensions in the Gulf, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has urged China to use its influence over Tehran to prevent Iran from closing the Strait of Hormuz, a critical maritime chokepoint through which roughly one-fifth of the world's oil supply passes. Rubio's statement, issued during a press briefing at the State Department, follows Iranian media reports that the country's parliament approved a plan to close the strait in response to escalating Israeli airstrikes and U.S. military deployments in the region. However, final approval rests with Iran's Supreme National Security Council, led by Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The world cannot afford this. Speaking to reporters, Rubio warned of catastrophic global consequences if the strategic waterway is blocked. This is not just an American issue, it's a global economic issue, Rubio said. We call on the People's Republic of China, as Iran's primary oil customer and a nation with considerable leverage in Tehran, to urge restraint and dissuade Iranian authorities from taking this reckless step. He added, "The world cannot afford this kind of disruption. We must act before the damage is done." Iran escalates amid growing isolation. Iran state-run Press TV confirmed on Monday that Parliament had voted in favor of a proposal to temporarily shut down the Strait of Hormuz, citing national security concerns amid increasing military pressure. Lawmakers supporting the move framed it as a defensive measure against what they call Western aggression, particularly Israel's recent strikes inside Iranian territory and renewed U.S. naval operations in the Gulf. However, Iranian officials clarified that implementation would require sign-off from the country's top security authority. "This is a strategic decision that goes beyond legislative approval," said government spokesman Ali Bahadouri Yaromi. Iran previously threatened to close the strait during past confrontations, but has so far stopped short of doing so, in part due to fears of global retaliation and damage to its own oil exports. China in the spotlight. China's role has come under scrutiny as it remains the largest importer of Iranian crude oil despite international sanctions. Beijing maintains strong diplomatic and economic ties with Tehran, and has invested heavily in Iran's energy infrastructure under its Belt and Road Initiative. Rubio's call puts diplomatic pressure on Beijing to act as a stabilizing force. "China has deep stakes in energy flows through the Gulf," said Andrea Callel, a senior fellow at the Center for Strategic Energy Studies. "The U.S. appeal is based on shared economic interests rather than shared values, which makes it more likely to be taken seriously in Beijing."